God bless you. For years, I thought God only spoke in church. I thought God spoke during worship service, revival meetings, evangelistic campaigns, and great spiritual gatherings. And yes, God did speak to me there. But after more than 30 years walking with Christ, I have discovered something different. Many times, God spoke to me in private first and only later confirmed publicly what he had already been doing in my life. And I want to share something very personal with you. When I was 13 years old in Puerto Rico, I gave my life to the Lord during a Christmas event. There was sincerity in my heart. There was emotion. There was genuine desire to know God. But honestly, I didn't know Christ the way I would come to know him years later. At 19 years old, I moved to the United States and I thought I was coming here for opportunity. I thought I was looking for a better future. I thought I was simply changing countries, but God had completely different plan. Today, I can say something I've never imagined I would say. I didn't know that God was bringing me to America so I could truly encounter Jesus Christ. Because it was here that I really met the Lord. It was here that I learned to depend on Him. It was here that I learned to recognize His voice. And I learned a truth that changed my life forever. I learned that God does not only speak inside, he doesn't speak only in churches. He doesn't, he God speaks in process. God speaks in lowliness. God speaks in trials. God speaks when we don't understand what he's doing. And many times, by the time we arrive at church, God simply confirms publicly what he already has dealt with you privately. That is that is why Revelation chapter 1 ministers to me so deeply, because John discovered exactly the same truth. You know, the Bible tells us that John received the revelation of Jesus Christ. But John was not in Jerusalem. He was not in the temple. He was not preaching to thousands of people. He was not leading a revival. He was far from home. He was isolated. He was in the island of Patmos. And yet, God was still speaking. That destroys a lie many believers have accepted. The lie that if we are going through difficulties, God has abandoned us. The lie that life is painful, God has gone silent. And the lie that if we can only hear God's voice when everything is going well or smooth. No, my brother. No, my sister. God still speaks in Patmos. God still speaks in the middle of suffering. God still speaks in the season of uncertainty. God still speaks when nobody else understands what we're going through. We have experienced, I have experienced this personally. Many times God has spoken to me while I'm driving. Many times he has spoken to me during exhausting seasons. Many times he showed me things that I do not understand until years later. For years, I recorded messages. For years, I built a library of teachings. For years, I kept working without fully understanding why. And now, looking back, I realized something. God was building something that I could not yet see. Because sometimes we think we are changing locations when in reality, God is changing our destiny. And maybe someone listening to me or watching to me today feels exactly the same way. Maybe you left your country. Maybe you left your family. Maybe you lost something precious. Maybe you are going through one of the hardest seasons of your life. Maybe you think God has forgotten about you. But let me remind you something today. The same God who spoke in Patmos still speaks today. Mm, 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 mm. The same God who found John in the exile still find his children in the middle of their struggles. Wow. The same God who found me far away from Puerto Rico and revealed Christ to me in a foreign land can find you whenever or wherever you are right now. Because God is not limited by buildings. He is not limited by geography. He is not limited by circumstances. God still speaks. Hallelujah. And many times, the greatest revelation of our life are born during the most difficult seasons of our journey. Patmos was not the end for John. Patmos was not, it was, I'm sorry, Patmos was a preparation. Patmos was not God's abandonment. Patmos was the place where God revealed something greater than John had ever seen before. And perhaps your Patmos is not the end either. Perhaps it's the very place where God is preparing to reveal something greater in your life. God bless you. We'll see you in our next video.